Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm here with my very bestest bestie, Jess. And I don't know what we're even going to talk about. What are we going to talk about, Jess?
We're going to catch up. It's been too bloody long, my friend. And before we started, I said to Bart, are we recording yet? Because we might as well, because we're just going to have a normal natter and have a catch up. And then later, maybe in a couple of weeks, we can do something a bit more formatted where people can actually ask questions and stuff. But today we're just going to catch up.
Yep. Brilliant. Love it.
Happening?
Right. Well, I've been trying to wrestle a farm into shape for the last 6 months. Good, bad, and indifferent, depending on which issue. Like there are 100 issues or more. There are 17,000 balls in the air. And it's the juggling act to try and wrestle various things under control. I've learned very quickly that farming is just high level problem solving, one thing after another.
It's like being a parent.
Is it? You'll have to take your word for it. The closest I've ever been is trying to control Ted.
Yeah. Or Pim.
Well, yeah. Good luck trying to control Pim.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you're knackered.
Yeah, so there's a bit of that. And there's been, trying to reformat the YouTube channel offerings a bit again and redo the persona, the presentation style, the act, if you like. So no more are we doing the grumpy swearing at everybody act.
Oh yeah.
Now we're doing the dripping with sarcasm act. See how that works.
I hadn't mentioned that he had seen something about something the other day, and he said he loved it. He was cracking up. Right. He said you're being a super, super sarcastic. I haven't watched, you know, I don't really watch anyone. I'm too busy, but I do hear the ripple effects of things. So that's fun.
So there's that. Yeah. What are you doing? What's been happening? Tell us all about it.
Same as me. Same as you, mate. I've been so busy. We're almost in June. It's insanity. Like, how is this year just flown by? But I have had so much on my plate. I've had workshops. So I've been running monthly nervous system workshops, which have been really good, really fun. And just a way of people kind of entering the neuro reset world of how do we work with the sensory system and what is the impact on the muscular system and all that jazz. And I went to SaunaFest last weekend. Not just the one or the one before. And it was in the Great Lake in Rotorua. Have you seen it? It's stunningly beautiful.
Nice.
It was in this mountain-esque setting with a lake in the middle of it. And it was something like 25 or 30 saunas from around New Zealand, all in one spot. And it was a festival over 3 days. And they had different workshops and stuff. They had food trucks, they had the saunas, they had these outdoor amazing hot tubs that are fired by, the little external fire that pushes the heat in through the tube, in the middle of the mountains. Nice. It was amazing. And obviously music and blah, blah, blah. So it was a bit like a festival, but it was a healthy kind of festival. It was a bit of a mixed bag, and we took the caravan and we took the kids, and I actually ran a workshop on the Saturday. What ended up happening was basically they moved me from one of the smaller stages onto the biggest stage. And on the Friday night, so we arrived on the Friday, set up, had a sauna, went in the lake. It was so beautiful. The kids made other friends. They're running around with their mates, all wildlings. It was really beautiful. And it was a no alcohol kind of, well, it wasn't promoted drinking. I'm sure people could have had a few drinks here and there, but it wasn't alcohol led. So they were roaming around, and that Friday night, I did not sleep. I was wide awake till 3 a.m, and you could just hear the unts music in the background. And I stupidly, oh, me too. I stupidly didn't bring my headphones with me to block out the noise. And and I had my workshop at 11. So when I finally kind of roused in the morning, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. And I'd already planned out this 90-minute workshop with all the pieces that I was going to teach and present and how I was going to do different demos and blah, blah. And in the morning, I just scrapped it. I was just like, screw any kind of format today. I'm just going to teach because I've done this for 13 years and I've been in health 20. This is my 23rd year in health, which is just mental, Bart. How old are we?
Oh, well, I'm old.
I'm old too. And so I thought, fuck it. I know this stuff like the back of my hand. I'm just going to go in there and just teach. So went in, started setting up my stuff. And I'd asked for a whiteboard. That's all I needed, to just draw some basic stuff. And the guy comes to me with this little chalkboard. It's about yay big, really crappy chalkboard. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to draw on this? And I'm trying to draw and the chalk snapping. And I was just like, oh, fuck it. So I just did some basic things. Anyway, it was amazing. I had like every single space was taken. It was at least, I don't know, there was more than probably 80 people at least in my workshop. And people, just more and more people kept coming, and then nobody left. And usually with the other workshops that I'd seen floating around, you kind of come in, have a little listen, and then bail. Everyone just like stuck like glue to my workshop, and they were just like, wow. Obviously I did some live pieces. It was just amazing, but it couldn't have gone better. Even with me being in not a very good way. So yeah, it was really, really, really good, really eye-opening. I had probably 20 people at least come up to me afterwards and ask us questions and invite me to present and be different parts of different things. And then the thing that really, why I wanted to do it and be a part of it was because like people need to know that this shit exists. Like so many people out there are struggling with their health, with their bodies, with tightness, with tension, with pain, with injuries, with debilitation, with nervous system issues, frankly. And they don't know that this exists. So I was like really, really stoked to share it. And the feedback I got was just ridiculous. And, my daughter came to the first kind of half hour. I came and sat there and she was just like amazed to see that. So that was really nice. And then she was listening to the people afterwards and they're like, wow, it was so eye-opening. And oh my God, did you go to, so it was like this little buzz around Neuro Reset. So that was really cool. And then obviously because then my workshop was done and dusted, I had the rest of the time just to chill. Because you know how there's always a little bit of nerves if you're presenting something at some kind of thing. And then when you've done it, you're just like, okay, cool, I've done my bit. Now I can just hang. So yeah, it was brilliant. It was so good. The next night I slept. We had just a beautiful weekend. It was really, really good. The only downside was on the way home, we snapped the cable that connected the caravan to the car, with the indicator light and all the lights and stuff. Somehow, I don't know how it happened, but it like fully snapped the cable. So we've got this frayed cable. And we came back from Rotorua with no indicator light or brake lights. So we were like indicating out the window with our arms. Couldn't work out why people wouldn't let us in. We were like, why are they not letting us in? It's because we had no indicators. So we now have to get the caravan connection piece fixed. But you know what it is? There's always something. There's always one thing.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
So that's been me lately. It's lots of workshops, lots of work. I've got a couple from Australia flying in next month for an immersion week, similar to what you did with me when you came up. And we did a whole ton of stuff, like not as intensive as you. We did like 3-4 hours a day with you for 5 days, whereas this one's more like 2 hours a day for 4 days. So it's a smaller immersion to help people fix some stuff.
Pussies.
Yeah. Well, it's because she hasn't done enough online work with me, so her nervous system isn't strong enough to deal with 3 to 4 hours of treatment a day. Like she doesn't have the capacity that you had. So we can say pussies, but actually she just isn't strong enough, which is good, same thing. And then I've got another girl coming over next week who snapped the end of her humerus off head off completely, dislocated the shoulder, and has had a brain injury and tumors removed where she had to reteach herself to talk and walk. So I'm helping her with a whole ton of stuff next week. So yeah, it's just been like boom, 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 boom. And that's on top of my normal client base. So it's just been actually frantic, almost like borderline too much. But that's my way, I always take on too much.
It always has been. Yeah.
I know, what's wrong with me? I can't like moderate. I always take on a heap.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when the alternative is like physio, chiropractor, osteo, and it's like, I feel bad. I can't say to someone, oh, no, I'm not going to help you, because the alternative, there's no one for me to recommend they go and see. So it's like, well, but I'm trying to stay. And, oh, actually, that leads me to, same as you, I've been reformatting all my offerings and stuff. So the food freedom program that I did when I first went like carnivore, our carnivore jumpstart program that we did together, and some other online nervous system programs are all being built in at the moment and are almost ready, so that people don't just have to access me in person. They can start entering into this stuff online. Because my dream is that someone gets to me and they already know how to identify their nervous system state, how to regulate themselves, how to strengthen different parts of their nervous system. They might have already gone through the visual system and the balance vestibular bits, and maybe even the vocal systems before they get to me. Because imagine how good a state they're going to be in before they get on my table. So yeah, I'm trying to create that. So yeah, it's just been like building. And then I also have 3 children. So it's been hectic.
Where was the learning curve on that, by the way?
What do you mean?
Well, it always stuns me, that people have children at all. But okay, I can understand. You have one, but once you've done that, what the hell is it that makes you think, a great idea would be to have more of them?
Well, you know why?
I know your first one's great. I know that, but
well, no, she's being a nightmare now.
oh, she's at that age.
Oh, mate, 12-year-old girls.
Oh my
Jesus
God,
Christ.
there's nothing you can tell me about those. Yeah.
I know. Ant is absolutely freaking out. And for you guys don't know him, he's my fiance. And actually, he's going to start being a little bit more online. He just started his YouTube channel yesterday. I'm like, whoa, because he hates social media.
Yeah.
So why was I talking about Ant? With Maya, he worries really badly about her. But I was a 12-year-old girl, so I know what I was like. And I used to fabricate stuff and exaggerate stories and compulsively lie. Like, it is not great, but that's what I did. And mine came from a different place. Like, I lied because I didn't feel safe in my environment. And it was a control factor, which maybe has some play in why she's doing it too. But he worries that, that she lies about things and that she can't admit when she's done something and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, babe, this is normal. This is 12-year-old girl antics. But because he wasn't one and he has no experience with 12-year-old girls, he doesn't really know what it's about. He went to Harrow and Gretham, whatever, like very snooty tooty schools in London.
Yeah.
And they didn't act that way, and boarding school is very different from. So anyway, his comparison is always from his experience. But she has been a handful. Like I told you, we let her go to school for 3 months. We tried her back at a term of school, college, Bart, with 18-year-old kids. Yeah. And we set all the parameters. She agreed. We're like, okay, if you want to go, then you need to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And she didn't just break one of the standards that we set for her. She, trifected it. She wiped out everything. She was emailing and texting during class. Yeah. She was, eating junk on screens, obsessing about boys, wanting to wear makeup, all things that we don't let her do, which is normal, right? I get rebellion, but we just watched her. We just let her. I didn't clue in that I knew, but obviously her temperament, how chill she is. She's excitable, but she's very balanced in her energy, and it's because she's not eating carbohydrates and crap, and all her hormones are all over the fucking show. It's because she's quite regulated. But every time she eats sugar or carbohydrates, she dissociates. She actually dissociates. She steps out of herself. Her temperament and behavior completely changes. It's really alarming to see. And what it reminds me of is like when a baby first has sugar for the first time and they go, and you can see the physiological response in them. and how hyper they go, how even their vocal system can change. Like, it's literally poison. And then I see that with her at 12. And the reason you can see it on a 12-year-old is because she hasn't had that gradual exposure to it. So hers is just like a baby. You can see it. As soon as she's eaten something, I know about it. But we don't always tell her that we know. We just watch and see how she goes. And then about halfway through the term, we reminded her, hey, Maya, remember, this is what we said. And it wasn't don't eat those things. It was we don't want you to, but if you do, you just need to let us know. Like just say, hey, Mum, I had such and such today. And it's so that we can help respond to her. Because if we know that she's like that, then we're going to give her a little bit more slack about her mood or her suckiness or, back chatting, because she doesn't do that typically. And also so that we can understand why her stomach's bloated, why the little spots on the back of her arms have flared up again, why her digestion is funky. It just allows us to know what's going on with her. She didn't say a word, right? She didn't say a thing. So we just let her. And then at the end of the term, on the last day, you're going to think I'm so mean. Wasn't even the end of the term, sorry. It was the week before the end of the term. She came home on the Friday. And I just said, that's your last day at school. And she felt all her feelings, cried, ran into her bedroom, felt all her feels. But like we just talked about it, we're like, Maya, we said this, and this. You are not, couldn't do X, Y, and Z, so you're not going. And actually, it was like the best thing, because for those 3 months that she was at school, she stopped writing her book. She stopped dancing in the garden. She started obsessing about how she looks, about boys. And it sounds terrible and it may be a bit extreme, but school stole her life. Like it stole her the things that she enjoys to do,
Yeah.
So that was fun. But she's way more
Awesome.
calm, happy and settled. And actually now we're saying to her, like, if you want to try to go back to school in term 4, these are the things that you need to be able to do and show that you can do the things. But she said to me yesterday, I don't think I want to go back to school in term 4, because she's starting to realize how it didn't serve her, or she's just telling me what I want to hear.
Well, who knows?
Who knows? She's such a
Kids
people
pushing their boundaries and stuff. Wow. Yeah.
Well, think about how many adults can't speak the truth, don't speak the truth about what they think or feel. And we expect a child to be able to, but she is quite a people pleaser and she doesn't really speak her truth. And so we have to pull it out of her. But yeah, we'll see. But anyway, it's hard. And I know, like you said, why would you have more? But it's because you forget, like when they're born, you obviously forget the pain of labor. And then when they're there and you haven't slept for 6 months and it's literally like the worst thing ever, when you get through that, they're cute and they're sweet and they're just gorgeous. And then as they start to get older, you're like, oh, I missed the baby phase. And so that's when you end up having a second. And that's how it ends up with 3 children.
Get a fucking puppy.
I've had 2 dogs.
No. We've got ducks. They're cute.
Oh, I love animals.
Whack, 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 whack. They're funny little fuckers. Whack, 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 whack.
Animals are great. They don't speak back,
Well, ours do. The ducks have always got opinions. The chickens have got opinions.
Do they?
We've now got 4 goats. We had 3 lasses, 3 female goats, one of which is our milker, and then we had the sister of the milking goat and the daughter of the milking goat.
Right.
And for some reason we decided, hey, let's get a male goat so that we can, make baby goats. Well, not us. Right. So they can do it. And so we've had this young chap, he's been with us for, I don't know, about a week now. And we wondered, how long would it be before he does his business?
Yeah.
We got him off the back of the ute.
Oh, my God.
4 hooves on the floor. Less than 60 seconds later, he was over one of them.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable. Is it right? Okay, it's clear. He knows what he's doing, clearly.
Is that I don't know anything about farming animals. Is that normal? Are they randy? Do they just...
Well, I think it just so happens that one of the goats was on heat and receptive.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It all seems to work on scent and pheromones. There wasn't much, conversation exchanged or anything like that.
Not too many bars.
There was no sitting around having a drink at the bar or having a meal or anything like that. It was just
the good old days. Yeah, you could just hit her over the head.
It was just like my teenage, really. It was just exactly how it used to be for me when I was young and beautiful and had hair and stuff. So there was that. We've also got a male sheep.
Yeah.
To deal with 17 ladies that we've got of that variety.
So are you going to try and breed them out?
Well, that was the thought, but we've been having some issues, some sheep discipline issues. So it seems like one or two of the worst offenders are going to go to the freezer instead.
Oh.
According to Pim, she's decided, who the main protagonist is, who the problem maker is. And unlike children, when you've got 3 or 4 of those and one of them's a problem, you can't just kill one of them. Yeah. Oh, well, fuck it. We'll just eat that one. But the one that she wants to eat is my favorite of the sheep, the most personable, the one that is most interactive with people. But of course, she's also the problem. She's also the troublemaker and leaves the rest of them astray and stuff. They've got this habit of, like, we set up polytape because we want to strip graze them.
I don't know what I'm going to eat while you talk, by the way, because I've got a client.
No, please, absolutely, that's fine. I know you're a busy young lady. Polytape is that electrical tape that you set up on waratahs that goes to stop an animal from crossing a certain line. So when you've got a large paddock, you can subdivide that paddock and strip graze the animals within this bit. Then when they're finished with that, they move off that and they move on to the next bit. The reason for it being that they stay in one area of grass only for a few days, and then they're off that, so that they're out of their own shit, and it breaks the cycle of parasites and all that kind of stuff without using any chemicals or drugs or anything like that.
Cool.
So it's all
Did you know
organic.
that before, or have you just researched?
No, Pim's done all the research and stuff. She's running the show in that regard, and I'm to do as I'm told. So that's how that is.
Fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm supposed to do as I'm told. That's where it all falls down. No, that's not what I told you to do. Everything wrong. Of course I did. Anyway, that's for another day. So anyway, this one sheep keeps leading the other sheep to actually thumb their noses at this electrical tape, which, by the way, carries like 7,500 volts.
Wow.
And they just straight through it. Boof. The grass is better over here. Get stuffed. Straight through it. Pull the thing to bits. Waratahs everywhere. Polytape all over the place. And it takes an hour to set it up each time.
Oh, no.
So she's had her guts full, and so she's decided that particular one is going to be the first one that we'll eat, because we haven't actually eaten any of the animals that we've been raising yet.
Have you named it?
I did. Well, we did.
Oh, no.
I know. And some of the ducks have got names, and some of the chickens have got names, and even some of the cattle have got names. It's
it gets hard with that, like, because we get
tell you what, people are thinking, because I'm going, oh, they've got names and personalities and stuff. People are going like, you're going to go vegan, aren't you now? And I'm like, no fucking chance. Don't worry.
No chance.
None. Yeah, so that's
we get home kill as well.
Yeah.
But there's one place we were getting home kill from, this farm, and we knew the girl and la. She kept naming them. Yeah. And then when they were in the freezer, we'd go, because you can taste the difference between different cattle, right? Yeah. And it would be, this is Daisy. And I'm like, this is so horrible. I don't want to name my steak particularly. However, it doesn't stop me from eating it. And it would never stop me from eating it. But it's hard because obviously, I get that a lot of vegans or vegetarians get into that because they want to be kind to animals, but what they don't realize is that we are literally designed through creation. Whatever belief you have around how we ended up on this chunk of land orbiting around, we're designed to eat this, and this is the most species appropriate food. And actually, by eating it and really loving and respecting the animals and sourcing them appropriately and all that kind of jazz, it's the best thing for you and the planet. So
yeah,
I'm never going to stop doing that.
And actually, on top of that, the animals that we have here get the best life.
Yeah.
Because they actually do get respected, and they get treated well. They get pretty much free reign to do whatever they like, including ignoring all the fucking rules. They get no pharmacologicals, no drugs, none of that. It's all organic here on this farm.
That's awesome.
They get grass fed their whole lives, those that eat grass. The birds get fed like better than I get fed, and more regularly, frankly. In fact, their needs come before mine, and rightly so, I'm sure. And indeed, I'm also the sole active member of the Pimbatian Defence Force, where I have to defend our independent sovereign nation from aerial attack.
How are you doing that?
Birds of prey are like trying to and successfully picking off one or two of our birds.
I was going to say, what do you do? Because you can't keep them.
Shoot the bastards.
Are you a good shot then?
Well, I'm getting better. Yeah. And there are other methodologies as well that
you have to get Ant to come down and help you. So his family owns quite a lot of land in Norfolk.
Yeah.
And they do hunts and shoots every year. And I went on one of the hunts with them one year. And they're just hunting pheasants and cock, whatever the fuck, I don't know birds' names, but he was just like, boom, and I was like, oh my God, he's so good at it. Yeah. So when we come down on holiday,
course, you keep threatening to come and visit.
I know we're going to.
So you need to come down, bring the girls, obviously, and we've got in the old money we've got over 40 acres for them to live out in and cause trouble. So it's awesome. Come in the summer, because what we're realizing is that while it's 5 degrees warmer here in the summer than you get elsewhere locally, at this time of the year when we're going into winter, my God, because we're also kind of in a valley, so the cold just sort of
oh no,
it just sits there. So there's that. We've got a swimming pool.
Yay.
So that's awesome. Plus we've got like swimming holes in the river that's on the edge of the property down the front there. So that's nice. So it's idyllic. It really is idyllic when you don't have to be protecting the airspace of Pimbatia from aerial attackers. But yeah, it's been, because that's also good dog food.
Do you have to pick all the bits of pellet or out of the bird if you're feeding it to the dog?
Single shot. Yeah. I'm not using a shotty.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's just a slug gun.
Oh, right.
But it's a 22 caliber shotgun.
Right.
With enough power to actually put one of those little, those little pellets that those things shoot. Halfway through a phone book.
Oh, really? Did you try?
Yeah. I was told that. I thought, I don't believe it. But also it takes something like 35 kilograms of force to cock the bastard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's got that much kind of air power, and it's just, boom, it actually kicks and it makes a decent sort of a.
Does it?
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah.
I remember the first time I shot a shotgun at Ant did it properly. I had it in my shoulder and it was just like, whoa. I was like, yeah.
Did you end up bruised?
No, I didn't. I don't know how I didn't. Just tough, I guess.
Yeah,
but I haven't been shooting since. And I wasn't trying to shoot at anything. I just shot into the air.
Yeah. There you go. Good.
I've never really been that interested in guns. I don't know if I told you about that with my dad, but my dad loves shooting, and he goes to the rifle ranges, and he does all his, goes to the little thing. But I think they dress up as cowboys sometimes and stuff too. They go on. Yeah. I haven't picked up that gene from him.
Right.
But it was so funny when he came up to Taringa once. Can't remember. I think he was just visiting or something. And he was going to buy like a safe, like a massive metal, huge safe. And he bought it up here, and he bought this van to like drive it all the way back to Carterton in, which is like 9 hours, 10 hours drive. And we went to help him pick it up, and it was this huge safe, and it took like 6 of us with a pulley system to try and get it into the van. And I said to Dad, why are you buying a safe? Like, what's this even for? He's like, oh, it's to put all my guns in because they're just lying around the house.
Cool.
I know. He just has them. My dad is the kind of guy that like does like handyman stuff. Like if he's chopping something or in jandals, or like he has zero safety of anything. He once spilt his tea down his gumboot and gave himself like 3rd-degree burns on his leg. Like he's just a bit spastic.
Great. All right. Remind me not to get your dad to come and do any work on the farm. We don't want any of that ACC problems.
No.
Yeah.
He
And
wouldn't anyway.
for those who don't know what that is, it's the Accident Compensation Corporation here in New Zealand that charges a lot of money out of your earnings to be safe or something.
I actually hate ACC.
Yeah, well, I hate all forms of government and control and taxation, but that's for another day.
Yes. Let's go into that one day and have a rant.
Oh my God. In the last tax year, I paid more in tax than I've ever earned in total in previous years.
Shit. Well, that also shows how well you're doing.
Which is
so
good.
Yay to you.
Yeah.
Because, I have the same whinge with my accountant. I'm like, oh my God, my GST is insane. And then my tax and then this and that. You're like paying tax 16 times. Yeah. And then you pay tax on the food that you eat, and then you pay tax on your earnings, and then you tax on top of tax on top of tax. It's just
fuel tax. Don't forget that. Anytime you drive your car anywhere, fuel tax.
I know. It's just
most of the cost of the fuel at the pump is tax in this country. So there's that.
They just rape and pillage everybody.
It's
and
disgraceful.
Then, but we don't do anything. Like I was saying this morning. Every morning, Ant and I walk down the road, and there's a playground. I don't know, say 400, 500 meters down the road. So we walk down there, get our morning light, get some movement, stimulate all our, circadian hormones, get everything going. And we're walking down there this morning, and there's these big fucking 5G things attached.
Yes, up and down your street, yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
And
you can't get away from it.
So angry about it because I'm like absorbing all of that electromagnetic fields.
Yep.
Obviously, I had a ton of health issues, mostly self-inflicted through wearing breast implants for 20 years in my body and getting silicone poisoning and all sorts of stuff. That's, again, for another day. But I do believe that that's impacting. And I just want to go down the street and just smash them off with a, baseball bat or something. But they'll just put more up, and then they'll just arrest you for doing it. And then, we don't get any say in what happens. They just rolled it all out during the fake, health crises that were going on, and nobody does anything. Yeah, the thing. And then nobody can do anything. And it's like power's gone up, and electricity and gas and everything's going up, but nobody's wages are going up. And we can't do anything because what do? Just get your electricity turned off. Like your alternatives.
Yeah.
And then
I'm getting a quote this week on getting this place set up for independent off-grid electricity.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm holding my breath because it's not cheap. But we've already got water sorted because we've got a well here on the property. We absolutely own the well. There is no limit to the amount of water we can draw out of it so long as there's water in it. And apparently it's never run dry in 15 years. The people before us own the property.
Yeah.
So that's that taken care of.
Yeah.
And this is just water that flows through an aquifer under the property. So it's like filtered through the land, and it's like,
oh, nice.
Unless it's rained heavily, it's crystal clear. So that's awesome. But yeah, we're still on the grid electricity, and it's highly rural. There are, it seems, too many customers on one transformer.
Oh, yeah.
So our supply is not stable.
Yeah.
I had a frank discussion with the line company last night when I had to ring them to say, actually, our supply is not stable. It's not the right voltage. It's under voltage, and it's doing this, and our lights are flickering. The only reason that my very expensive computer equipment and all of that is not being damaged is because I've got it on a UPS that controls that.
Oh, yeah.
Your job is to supply me with a stable, correct voltage.
Yeah.
You need to get somebody out here to look at it, sort of thing. And they're trying to say, oh, this is going to cost you for us to come and have a look at it. And I'm like, fuck right off. Actually, just get someone out here.
Yeah.
Because, that's your job.
Oh.
Nobody wants to give you anything for free, do they?
No, it's also there's no customer service. Like back in the day, if you complained at meeting something and people would change their behavior, these days it's like, oh no, too bad. What are you going to do about it? And that's like literally, that's customer service. It used to be the customer is always right, and now it is screw the customer. We'll just get another one. Like too bad. Where you going to go? Like we're all going to be shit. So what? You can go from one crap place to another. Like, the world has really changed in the last few years. It's annoying.
I know. I tell the youth of today, and they just don't believe you. We have to live in shoebox by side of the road.
Oh my God. I watched the best movie last night. It was so good. It was, you have to watch it. I have to ask Aunt what it was. But it was like an old school, it was like a grandpa kind of Rambo. So it was a revenge movie. But oh my God, it was so good. But it was like, it's that same thing. It's like he literally has nothing. And sometimes it's better to just not be in society because society is screwed up.
Well, that's why we've set up Pimbatia, our own independent sovereign nation, basically, where we can pretend that we're actually not part of New Zealand and not subject to it. Although, there are still issues like, being reliant on actual society outside of our borders currently to supply electricity to us, for example, or, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
another example that
ahead than most people. I would love to exit the Matrix. I would love to exit the Matrix, but for us at this moment, it's not possible. And that's the end goal. But for right now, it's not. And the other thing is like for me to exit society for what I want, which is to be close to the ocean, I'm going to need like 6 to 10 mil to get
probably
what I want. Because I'm not willing to go off into the hills.
Yeah.
Because I love being minutes from the ocean. I missed it. 13 years in London was enough for me to be like, no.
I don't know how you did that. I mean, having been to London a number of times myself, I cannot understand how anyone could live there, let alone 12 million people.
I know.
Just incredible. But anyway, a great way of generating such kind of incomes would be to market the fine Cerule Stem Enhanced Ultra Hardcore Carnivore version. There's no limit to the amount of money you can generate if you're prepared to put in the work to tell people that the stuff exists. People always ask me, what's the secret of success in Cerule? And I say, well, the secret is it's not a fucking secret. Tell people about Cerule. And, and they'll go, well, shit, I want that too. And they'll buy it because it's great stuff. It does exactly what it says it does on the tin.
People don't know what it is.
New Zealand or Australia, though, you can't have the hardcore carnivore version just yet. You can have the standard version if you're outside New Zealand and Australia, which looks like that instead. It's nearly identical to the hardcore carnivore version, but just not quite. Although, hey, get this.
What?
Word is afoot. We may just be on the verge of I guess, getting the Cerule folks to agree to open up the European market for hardcore as well.
Oh, really?
And if that goes,
that means that the Australia and New Zealand market have shown enough interest in it.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm not sure. We'll see. But if it goes well in Europe, then I would suspect the US won't be far behind and other territories. So it looks like maybe we're over the hump.
Yay.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not privy to the decision making of the company. I'm just a lackey like everybody else in terms of being an independent distributor.
Tell people that don't know what that is, what it is. I've got about 8 minutes.
Okay, so Stem Enhanced Ultra is the flagship product of a company called Cerule, with which both Jess and I are joint ventured. It's a product that causes your bone marrow to release a large amount of your adult stem cells that live in your bone marrow until they're needed. What do these adult stem cells do? They renew and repair your tissues with brand new cells with full-length telomeres. Isn't that awesome? So anytime any tissues in your body get worn down, tired, dysfunctional, whatever, the way that the body naturally replaces those cells is with these adult stem cells that I'm talking about. Sadly, every year that we're alive, our ability to release the stem cells drops. Not that we can ever run out of these things. We've got basically an inexhaustible supply. Supply is not the problem. The problem is getting them from their supply in the bone marrow into the bloodstream where they can circulate in the body and do their thing. It's supposed to happen. It's a design of your genes. It's one of the reasons that we age, become decrepit, and eventually die. What this product is doing basically is flipping the bird to that and saying, let's reverse that trend and get these stem cells flowing again. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I love them.
So what I'll do is I'll put Jess's link up on the screen, on this video, on the screen right now, so everyone can race off and get it. So if you're outside of New Zealand and Australia and you're a new customer, that's the one you want, Stem Enhance Ultra. Also, you should probably get some of these other really neat products like Cyactive, which is an anti-inflammatory. Works on both the LOX and COX pathways, but doesn't have the same side effects that you'll find with the pharmacological versions of that, like paracetamol and that kind of stuff. And you should probably get Plasma Flow as well, which is an enzyme-based preparation designed to dissolve fibrin deposits out of your microvasculature that really shouldn't be there. They're there because we're chronically inflamed instead of acutely like we're supposed to be. So it's get them together as a package. It's cheaper that way. And if you get one of those wellness packs of those 3 products, subscribe and save, you won't pay for shipping and you'll get a price break. Isn't that cool? If you're in Australia and or New Zealand and you're a new customer, you might try the Hardcore Carnivore version. The difference being, instead of a cellulose capsule, it's bovine gel. Instead of an inert rice starch flow agent, it's silica, basically sand, whatever. and the Hardcore Carnivore version doesn't currently have fucoidin. The fucoidin, I'm hoping, will go back into the Hardcore Carnivore version in future. It's not there. It's not there because it's from a plant. Because it's not from a plant. Fucoidin comes from a seaweed, which is an algae, not a plant.
Why'd they take it out?
It's not so much that they took it out. There was a supply issue at the time that they made the batch of Hardcore Carnivore that we're dealing with. Sometimes the external companies that supply Sorul with the base ingredients from which they make the product, sometimes they drop the ball. It's not Sorul's fault. Yeah. It's the fault of these other companies that are supposed to supply the stuff. Sometimes they can't do it. And so we didn't want to hold off anymore because we'd already delayed the release of the Hardcore Carnivore for Australia and New Zealand. So okay, fine, leave the fucoidin out. Let's just go with it. Yeah. So that's the situation. But basically, look, either or, they're both great products. They both do exactly the same thing pretty much. Really, the Hardcore Carnivore version is just for those people who are extremists and so no plant material shall pass my lips, like Jess. Although Jess has got an excuse. She does react badly to the capsule.
Oh, my God. I used to use the old ones and take them out of the capsule and tip them into water. And I'm super sensitive. But I have been a bit of a purist for so long now that everything that I take that isn't right will show up on my body.
Yeah, absolutely. Really yes, good. All right, young lady. You're out of time, young lady. You need to go and do things.
Yeah, she's not here yet. It's all right.
Okay, all right, cool.
No, just for the people that don't know, I started taking them about 5 years ago and started with the Stem Enhance. And then when they came across they released the Hardcore ones, I went to the Carnivore versions. And my body is so much happier on those. I can take those every day quite happily. And obviously seen improvements in energy and skin regeneration and other perks of taking them. I've dabbled with taking them out to see whether or not it was me actually changing my diet, which was having all of the improvements, or if they were, in my opinion, having an impact. And they definitely were. So I recommend them. She says, I don't use any supplements. I don't know if you've seen my stories yesterday, but I've just started taking a ton of supplements.
Okay.
And obviously Stem Enhance or the Hardcore Carnivore is always in my daily protocol. But other than that, I didn't ever take any supplements because I get everything that I require out of dietary meat and animal products. But
what about fiber and vitamin C, though?
I know.
Jesus. All right.
I had some interesting conversations this week because someone was asking me about the girls and if they take them out. But how do we even feed them? Because, nobody just eats meat. And I said, you can get it from anywhere. You go to any restaurant, any cafe, any whatever, and you can just ask for sides. Yesterday they had, bacon and eggs and sausage and bolognese and stuff at a cafe. Like, you can get it from anywhere. It's like people don't want to do it, but it is actually quite easy to do. So yeah. Anyway,
you just have to be prepared to ask. All right, look, it's been an absolute pleasure as usual, Jess. I can't wait for you guys to come and see Pimbatia. You'll shit.
Oh my God.
You
yes,
will.
Let's try and I'm going to really, really try and come down this year, because that's only 6 months left. But winter or summer's about November, so we'll look at the end of the year.
Nice.
We should do a retreat there next year.
Absolutely. And we should probably have a qualify for a retreat thing that people have to do something. Whatever.
Yes, that would be so good. Actually, Dr. Abs wants to come as well and meet us.
Oh, look, absolutely. He's more than welcome. Yeah, I love Dr. Abs.
Me too. He's great.
Yeah.
All right, honey bun.
I'll let you go and deal with your client, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Cool.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.